Oh my gosh, you guys, we have something entirely new to talk about, and it is a dating show that has been around for forever, but decided to twist us this season, and it's the Golden Bachelor. And I'm excited about it because I feel like there is a certain amount of predictability to some of these shows where, like, for me, I think it's really, really interesting to watch human behavior in this microcosm of reality TV. On top of that, I find it interesting how the dating shows work, how I get it, like they are isolated from the outside world and, put into this like semi competition slash sorority house type of environment, fraternity, sorority, depending on who's competing for the bachelor or the bachelorette. But there's a little bit of predictability. You just kind of know, like, there's going to be a bit of insecurity. There's going to be a bit of rivalry. There's going to be the girl who does not care and is blowing everything off. Like, I don't know. It starts to feel a little bit repetitive. I have not, admittedly, watched a lot of The Bachelor and The Bachelorettes lately. Um, I, honestly, I love reality TV, but there is so much of it right now. And also, just a lot of stuff has been going on over the last couple of years. So I was a little disconnected. We didn't have the greatest internet connectivity. So streaming things wasn't always the easiest. It's just been a lot. So now that I have a bit more time and there's some new things going on, I'm interested. I am really looking forward to the Golden Bachelor. So far, we've had one, I believe. I've only seen one. Watched the first one, the pilot episode, and I was pretty excited about it. I really like their Bachelor. He seems very kind. He is 71 years old. Now, here's another thing that's quite interesting about this, and that is that when I started watching reality TV, it was The Real World on MTV, and I was a teenager watching people who, I think Julie was on that first episode, that first season, and she was 18, but she was the youngest one. Everybody else was like in their early 20s, and it seems like they were a lifetime from where I was. And then over the years, I have watched it come to where, like, I am the same age as them, and now I am slightly older than them, and it's just kind of an interesting life perspective shift. So to now be watching one where, again, I am younger than the competitors or the contestants, or I guess the I don't know what you would call, because I don't know if they're really contestants. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a competition, but it is the dating show, the people on the show, right? The participants. It's an interesting thing because, admittedly, when I started to watch them and they're in their 20s, it is, and this is not to be condescending. I am not about to be like, I can't learn anything from a 20-year-old. That is BS completely. I am in my early 40s and in no way believe that. But I do think that sometimes when you're watching it, you're watching these young people who haven't quite had the life experience yet. So some things that feel really big and overwhelming, it's like, oh, honey, just breathe. Or like this like self judgment, like just feeling not good enough. And it's like, girl, you're going to realize that this does not define you, kind of thing. And so it is interesting that now we're going to be watching people who are well into their life journey and have had significant losses. They have had significant lives. The big things have happened. And so they have a different perspective. And I am interested in seeing how it's going to unfold in this same environment that we have witnessed so many times. So we have the Golden Bachelor. His name is Jerry. Gary. I don't know. It's not Jerry. That's wrong. It's Gerry, and I believe they're saying Gary instead of like Gary. It's Gary, but in my brain, every time I see it, it's Jerry. So I'm working on it. I'm going to be trying my best. He is 71 years old, and he is a widower. His wife died 6 years ago, which is relatively young if you think about it. They bought their like dream lake or beach house. It was supposed to be amazing, and then something happened and she died. And that is terrible. It broke my heart to watch, honestly. But he seems like a really nice guy. I don't believe he has sons. I think he has daughters and grandkids, which is another thing I think is going to be quite interesting to see a man who has raised daughters, who has had significant relationships with females and how he's going to interact with female contestants. Because there's an element that's just gonna suck. Like, you have to hurt people's feelings. And when he did his first elimination, you could tell, like, it was, like, rough on him. And I'm like, oh, dude, it's only gonna get worse. You're gonna get to know these women. And arguably, everybody's special. Like, you know, it's kind of funny. It's like, nothing's special. Everybody is special. Everybody's gonna have stories. Even if you don't connect to them, like, romantically, it is hard to look at somebody and say, I don't want you here anymore. Like, you don't stand out enough. Because even though that's not what you're saying, it is what you're saying. And so that is kind of a weird concept. And I think for anybody who is, I have fuzz all over me. The cats have been, like, all over me. Astral in particular. And she's a light colored cat. Anyway, that is what you're saying. Like, even though it's not like a personal judgment, like, it's okay to not be the romantic match for everybody. It still sucks to say it. So anyway, there are a bunch of women, and I think Jimmy Kimmel's grandma, mom, aunt, I don't know. I think she was more comedic relief and not necessarily actually there for The Bachelor. I do have my phone. I'm going to look at some pictures while I talk to you guys. And then I'm going to also try to put those pictures up so that we can look at the pictures together. But for the moment, I will be looking at my phone, and I apologize for that. I have my top girls, and I'm very excited because all of the girls that I picked that I was like, yes, they all made it. So that's exciting. So my first one was actually Edith. I loved Edith. I think she's just classically beautiful. I do also want to take a moment to be like, these women have, like, some of them have quite obviously had some, like, maybe resurfacing or like lifting, but I mean, everybody has the right to age how they want, like, to have that relationship with, changing the way you look and being comfortable. So I'm not saying anything, but it is interesting to see these women, and older women and older bodies on TV looking absolutely beautiful. I am just an advocate for it. I think it was just beautiful. I think they all looked so lovely, and it was so nice. And I loved Edith. I think she was just so pretty. And I was like, oh, I think that she's so kind in her eyes, which I thought, it's interesting. Everybody I picked, I loved their eyes. Okay. And also I thought it was interesting because when Gary was talking to Jesse, he said, I could see it in the eyes, and that's just not something you could fake. And I was like, yes, like, you can really see the life around their eyes, and like I don't know, I loved it. But Edith. So Edith is 60 years old, so she's 11 years younger. Now, I don't know how that's going to play into things. I don't think age really matters that much, but on the same time, like, I don't know, like, you're picking a partner and he's in his 70s. So when you're 70, he will be in his 80s, and so on. It does feel a little scary. I don't know. She is a retired realtor, and she is absolutely so kind and so pretty, and I loved her for him. That was my first one. My second girl was Marina, who I believe was wearing a sari when we saw her, and she was just so kind as well. I loved her for him. Marina is 60 as well. I'm interesting. She's an educator, and I'm interested to see where that could go. I hope that these girls are around for a long time, and I keep telling them girls, these women are around for a long, long time. Faith, who I believe was the one who got the first impression rose, she played a song, and it was really sweet, and it was so lovely. It really was. I believe Faith is 60 years old as well, and she is also an educator, a high school teacher, and she, like I said, played a song. I thought she was lovely. I didn't expect her to get the first impression rose, though, actually. I thought that there might be somebody else who would get it. Teresa, 70, so she's closer to his age. Financial service professional. I think she's fun and spunky. Now, she was a little kooky when she came up pretending to be naked under her clothes. But But she's spunky, and I guess it was her birthday because he gave her a cupcake, and then he took a bite and let her kiss the frosting off. So that was the first kiss that happened on the show, and she did not get the first impression rose. Now, she thought she was going to because of that moment, which clearly means you've never seen the show, because the kissing doesn't mean anything. Like, I mean, it can, but like, it doesn't mean you're getting the first impression rose. So don't go resting on your laurels. Natasha. I loved Natasha for him. She is beautiful. I mean, drop dead stunning. 60 years old, and she is a pro aging coach and a midlife speaker. I'm into it. I'm into it. I feel like that's something I would like to do. I want to be a midlife speaker. Susan. I loved Susan. She was very Kardashian-esque. I was like, girl, and she seemed really tall, like bigger. And I don't mean like thick or anything. I just mean I think she was like, she seemed taller and like a bigger woman, and I loved it. I was into it. I was like, yes. And she's got like a kind of deeper voice. She is 66. She's a wedding officiant, and I just liked her vibe. Her fun fact on the article where I got the photos was that she dreams of having lunch with Kris Jenner, and if you can't see why, I was like, yes. In fact, when I was watching him give out roses, I was like, please, the Kardashian lady. So, Sandra, okay? Sandra is phenomenal. She is his age, I believe. She is, oh no, she's older than him. She's 75. And she is a retired executive assistant. And she was like, I like to do this like calm down chant. And then it was nothing but so like F this S or whatever. I don't know what she was saying, but it was fantastic. That's the kind of meditation I am into. Like, I loved it. He laughed. Like, I thought it was so fun and so exciting to see them meet. I really like her. She's very active. She seems like somebody who could really keep up with him. I do wonder, though, after losing your first wife, if having a partner who is your age or older is going to factor in. Like, if there's a fear factor there for, like, losing another life partner. It just, maybe that sounds crazy. Maybe, like, I don't know. But it does. It does. It makes me wonder. So those are my top girls. But I did want to say some of the things that right off the bat seemed very, very different was that they did not seem like there's always this edge of competition between the girls. They are sizing each other up. You're at this point when you start getting the like floating head confessionals, you're going to get girls split into basically two groups or maybe three. We'll go into them. The first group is going to be like, oh my God, she does not hold a candle. Have you seen me? I got this. He'd be stupid to let me go. Group one. Group two. Oh my God, have you seen all of the beautiful women? Like, what am I even doing here? Oh my, I don't even know. Like, I'm not sure what I want to be when I grow up. I'm not sure who I want to, I don't know if I want to be married. I don't know if I want kids. I don't know what I'm such a mess and I'm such a basket case and these girls are so amazing and all together. And you just see the insecurities start to mount. And before he even walks in, like he hasn't even met them all, they start to break themselves down. And then there's that third group of girls who know somebody in the room. And they're like, oh yeah, I met her before. We used to do pageants together. Hannah Brown, Kaylin. Or like, we dated the same guy or whatever it is. And they don't like each other and they don't necessarily talk bad about each other, but they're like definitely throwing shade. And then there's like a clip of them talking, hi girl, how are you? Yeah, I'm great. So good to see you. Right? So those are your three groups, generally speaking, when you see these shows start. But this time I felt like all of the women were extremely, you're in your 60s and 70s. They're able to look around and go, yeah, there are gorgeous women here. I'm one of them. Yeah, there are well-established women here. I'm one of them. Yes, somebody's going to walk away with the guy, and I hope it's me. It's life, So it just seems to be a much more grounded approach, and I'm interested to see how that will continue. Obviously, we have heard about some of these dating shows and some of like these environments. Like I said, they're isolated. They don't have social media. They don't have outlets. I don't think they let them watch TV and stuff like that. Like everything is like, you're just sitting around waiting for the cameras to come because they want to catch everything. And also because that environment is going to make you more, it's going to be more conducive to you being really into the dates when you finally get to go somewhere, really into the guy when he finally talks to you. You know what I mean? So it is interesting, I think, to see how this environment is going to play out with more developed humans, people who have been through the fire and already cooked a bit. Like I am very into it. I will be watching every week and we will be discussing because I'm interested. I would love to know what your opinions are and who your front runners are, who you really want to see with them. Also this weekend I will be watching some Love is Blind, the new season, the newest. So I'm excited about that. I talked to Amber and I was like, I think I'm going to do this. And she was like, yeah, okay, watch it, record your videos, do what you want, and we can watch it together another time. Like, yeah, sounds good. So that's exciting. I look forward to talking to you about Love is Blind. I look forward to talking to you about the Golden Bachelor. There are some others that I'm sure we'll discover together. And yeah, talk to you later.